Honorable Men Discord, penitentiary chances. Let's talk about it. Penitentiary chances. What am I talking about when I say penitentiary chances? So that's just a term or a saying, I should say, not a saying that was used back when I was younger. And what I mean by penitentiary chances is anytime you gamble with your freedom, you're taking penitentiary chances, meaning you're gambling with your freedom and you could potentially land yourself behind bars for however amount of time, right? So unfortunately for Eugene Big U Henley Jr., he has put himself in a position allegedly for penitentiary chances. Now, he still has to, he hasn't gone through trial, so I'm not here to speak on whether or not he's guilty or not. But unfortunately for him, I feel as though he spent more time behind bars than as a free man. So this came up and this was big news because this is a federal case. Big U, along with a few dozen others and more to come, I suspect, have been under the microscope from the federal government for all types of gang-related activity. But unfortunately for Big U, they have him as the leader. They're calling him the almost like the crime boss of it all. And they're saying that he was hiding behind, charities and things like that as like a front for what he was really doing behind the scenes. And for those of you that are not familiar with this situation, I have ABC Channel 7 News. This is the clip to bring you up to speed. Let's take a listen.
Breaking news just coming into our newsroom. 2 fugitives wanted by the FBI, including a longtime accused LA gang leader, now in custody tonight.
Let's get right to Mark Robles, who joins us now with new developments live in the newsroom. Mark?
Yeah, David and Ellen, good evening. We have been following this story throughout the day. Federal officers arrested more than a dozen members tied to the gang known as the Rollin' 60s Neighborhood Crips, though its leader was on the run. Well, within the last 20 minutes, the FBI announcing that man, Eugene Henley Jr., a.k.a. Big U, is now in custody. We have just learned new details that Henley turned himself in. Earlier, Air 7 was overhead as some of the alleged gang members were being processed at the FBI's LA field office. 19 were indicted. The FBI says Henley headed up the local Crips gang for decades. Investigators say that he painted himself as an entertainment executive who's been giving back to the community with various charities, but they say Henley is a violent criminal. A woman who knew him says that he has had a positive impact on the community.
He was incredible, whether it was a 7-year-old child or a 50-year-old former gang member coming out of incarceration. His ability to communicate and relate was excellent. If these charges are true, because they're still allegations, they are not a done deal, they're allegations. If they're true, then Eugene Henley was somebody who presented 2 faces to this world.
Charges in this gang bust range from racketeering to murder. A second fugitive the FBI was looking for was also apprehended. The FBI says Henley is from the Hyde Park area of South LA. If convicted, he would face a max sentence of life in federal prison. We are told that he should be in court tomorrow. Live in the newsroom, Mark Robles, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. David, you.
Hello.
Life, as I mentioned before, he hasn't been out that long. Now, I was trying to find just how long he's done jail time prior to this, but it's like, penitentiary chances. Unfortunately for him, I'll be honest with you, back when Nipsey Hussle was murdered, his name was thrown out there in public as the one behind the hit on Nipsey. And this is not me trying to add on to what he's already dealing with. This is just the fact. And I want to say it wasn't even a full week after Nipsey was murdered that his name kept popping up. And one of the things that they sought him out for was a murder that took place in Las Vegas. And this was some other person who allegedly was a rapper, and he had said something about Big U that Big U didn't like, and he ended up murdered. So he's facing a lot, as you heard what the news reporter said. It's his charges can carry up to life in prison, which would be so unfortunate for his family. But if he did in fact do the things that are mentioned, along with the other 12 plus individuals, then he's gonna get the justice that he basically he's gonna get the justice that he deserves. If that's what he did in fact do. But penitentiary chances is something that unfortunately a lot of black males that live that street life or the gang life put themselves involved with, because they're gambling with their life. That fast life, the fast cars, the notoriety. It's almost like they hood celebrity. And some people are addicted to it. It's like a drug, and they just don't know how to part ways with it. And unfortunately for us, once you taste the fast life, it's hard to go and do the 9 to 5. The 9 to 5 is slow and steady. Anyone who's done 9 to 5 for a long period of time knows it's not something that even someone who's been doing 9 to 5 for a long period of time is content with or satisfied with. So if the 9 to 5ers are not content or satisfied with the 9 to 5 process, could you imagine someone who's lived a street life that was just getting money fast, right? Do all types of schemes, scammers, things of that nature. It's hard to have enjoyed that type of money and then transition out of that. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because, again, to my knowledge, he spent more time in jail than as a free man. So when you come out of prison, sometimes you come out reformed, but even if at your best efforts, it's difficult because that's all you know. So let's say you go in jail as a young teenager, and then you're serving 10 to 15 years. When you come out, all you know is that which puts you in prison. And then it makes it 10 times worse when you come out, the people that embrace you are still living that lifestyle, or that lifestyle is you're surrounded by that lifestyle, which I'm talking about the streets. If you're surrounded by street mentality in that lifestyle, if you're connected to a gang, transitioning out is not easy. Some have done it, they've turned to religion, and so that would be maybe the best way out, because then the gangs, I believe, have a respect for religion as far as the Muslim faith. Many people who are in the street life, when they go to prison, they come out Muslim, and sometimes I would like to believe the gangs respect that. So it's not like you have a target on your back from your fellow gang members if you became a Muslim. But I acknowledge the fact that it's not an easy thing to do, so I'm not gonna sit here and criticize him, because I don't know his circumstances. I don't condone it or support what he's done if he did in fact do the things that's mentioned. But again, I understand that it's not easy to transition, especially when you're tied to a gang. Even furthermore, when you're at the head of the gang, where they look to you for answers. And then if you're still living in the community with the gangs, it makes it, it's just layers on top of layers that make it hard for you to just separate yourself from those type of situations or conditions. And it's like almost like a lose-lose. But at the end of the day, we can't make excuses. We have to figure it out some way, somehow, if we really do have intentions of not repeating the same mistakes that we made when we were younger. Eugene, he's up there in age, and with his notoriety, he should have been able to transition out of it. But again, I don't know what the finances were looking like for him and his family, and whether or not he felt pressure to try other avenues. Again, if he did do illegal activity, I'm not saying that he did or he did not, but I can only imagine, you come out of prison and you may want to do right, but then, you also have the pressure of being the head of your family. And since you've been gone for so long, you probably feel the pressure of making things happen at a faster rate than the 9 to 5, because transitioning to 9 to 5 is not easy when you have a record. All right, whether or not people want to acknowledge that fact or not, it is a thing. There's a truth to that. That it's not easy to just jump into a 9 to 5 when you have a record. All right. Furthermore, just as a black man in general, sometimes getting work is not easy. Period. Just as a black man. So then when you add the fact that you have a criminal record, it just makes things 10 times harder. And then if you have a criminal record and you're known, if you're nationally known for being connected to a gang, you could just only imagine how difficult it is to get employment, because then people are fearful of you. They don't trust you, but these allegations make it horrible for him, because this is just adding on to the fact that he already had a criminal past. So then when you add this on, it's just making things worse, and I don't know how this is going to pan out. I don't think it's going to pan out in his favor, because again, this is federal charges, and usually when the federal government gets involved, they have stacks of information on you, whether it's recordings, whether it's documents, whether it's witnesses, whether it's testimonies that were given, anonymous testimonies. It's just never a good look. And from the news report, you can see that they were more than prepared to make the arrest, which means they're ready to go. They're ready to move forward with the court proceedings. So, but just unfortunate. I want to go into, this is Big U before he turned himself in, because again, Big U wasn't apprehended. He turned himself in, and so this is him. He went live with his family in the car, just speaking on his situation. So let's take a listen.
So this is gonna probably be my last video. I'm gonna go turn myself in to see what's going on. They talking about I'm a fugitive. So they just raided all my houses. 600 was actually with the police when they raided my house. And he's actually got video and footage of it. So y'all know what y'all dealing with. And I just want to say this to y'all. When they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about whack, loose cannon, 600, and this internet stuff. All of y'all filed. All y'all who be sending shit around the internet, all y'all who be promoting and listening to what they saying, all y'all giving these likes and hidden likes, all y'all supporting this. All y'all guilty of this shit. If you had something against a black man, you should handle it with a black man in the streets. Wack said 100 times he was gonna take my contracts. He working with the FBI. The FBI went to the city 3 days in a row and told the city they didn't want nobody to give me no more money. They went to all the different celebrities and told all the different celebrities, don't give me no money, don't help me, don't do nothing for me. They going around scaring and intimidating everybody. But y'all sending it around getting people in trouble. Like y'all don't understand what the FBI do to black men who try to help their community. I ain't been nothing but a help to our community. But I guess it is what it is. This the price of being black and trying to help somebody, trying to help your community and do what you can. You just guilty because somebody else don't like you and then go on the internet and do what the they want to, and y'all gonna promote it. It's crazy. But I'm going to go turn myself in, though. Because I ain't did nothing. This fact is, man, they done went to my house, kicked my houses in, bust my doors down, bust my windows. They calling my son at his football practice, threatening him. You know what I mean? These dudes tagging him. What kind of shit is this? But y'all gonna be rolling with these dudes. And I got this last thing to say. Wack said he was gonna destroy developing option, right? So who gonna replace developing option? Which one of you in the 60s gonna call yourself coming in? Because whoever try to come in, y'all the ones that's working with Wack. Believe that. So remove me to get me out the way for somebody else to come in who gonna cooperate. That's what the play is. That's what the whole play is. I'm out. I'm gonna send y'all videos to put up all.
If you don't know who Wack 100 is, If you're not familiar with WAC 100, WAC 100 is affiliated with the Bloods gang, and he's also the manager of rap artist Game. So that's who he's referring to when he talks about WAC. He goes by the name WAC 100. But let's continue.
Till they lock me up. I'm looking at all these charges on the news. I'm headed back to LA. And then I'm looking at the people they arrested. How you gonna go arrest people that I don't even talk to? That's a built-in liar right there. You know what I mean? So, is that how they gonna work the case? Everybody know how to with Cannon. Everybody know how to Brick Baby. So if you want to arrest certain dudes, and put them next to me, them is the dudes you gonna have to call themselves turning against me. Well, ain't no turn against me. I ain't going for that. You might as well go get 600 and whack. These dudes been saying I did shit all year. So what they doing is they go on the internet and these dudes say that I did shit on the internet. Then when you say I did on the internet, they go investigate it. Now you raiding my houses, raiding my shops.
Had to pause it there. 600 is a member of the Crip gang, but he's been on several podcasts with WAC 100, who's a Blood, which don't ask me how that's possible. You know, a lot has changed throughout the years, but if you go to No Jumper, the No Jumper podcast, you'll see interviews with WAC 100 and 600. I think he mentioned Luke Cannon or something like that. He also, I believe, is a Crip, but he's done an interview with WAC 100. But at this point in time, I don't think he and WAC are seeing eye to eye. There's just a whole bunch going on the internet. The problem here is, before I continue, is that a lot of these people that he's mentioning, including himself, but I know he would say in his own defense that he never went on there speaking about any gang activity because he's not guilty, right? So that's his stance. But he, along with all the people he's mentioned, have all been on several podcasts online. Now, here's the problem. The problem is that whether you're legit or not, when you constantly go online and you have a past and you may speak on the past, or you're affiliated or you associate with people that are in the streets, you're just incriminating yourself. You know, it's been said that WAC 100, you know, is working with the feds and stuff like that. I can't prove that, and I can't negate it. But at the end of the day, WAC 100, Big U, 600, this guy Luke, or Luke Cannon, all of them have been on several podcasts talking about different things. You know, you can call it dry snitching, or you can call it instigating, you could call it whatever you want to call it. The point is, they're all guilty of being on social media. And at the end of the day, if you're associated with a gang, I don't even think it's in your best interest to be on social media or to do podcasts. That's just my opinion, but what do I know? I'm not affiliated with a gang, but it makes no sense to me. I've never seen this type of thing. You know, you would, you know, if you were looking many years ago when John Gotti was out there, and, you know, different quote unquote crime bosses, they would never entertain the podcast world if it was around when they existed. But yet we have these street gangs, you know, and people that are affiliated with street gangs that, you know, just for the few moments of fame, they're on podcasts, whether they're speaking about their situation or other people's situation, they're making their face known, and these things are cemented in it's cemented in the world of the internet. And so these individuals are making it easier for the federal government when they need to put a case together to figure them out, because they could just play all the episodes, get the information through the episodes. They could hear what they're talking about. They could hear what activities they take part in when they want to say they go into, like, you know, I know, I think Brick Baby at one point was talking about meeting up at like an annual event with the Crips. I know he spoke about that on No Jumper, but I'm just bringing that up as an example. When you start talking about the activities you take part in, you know, you can't then turn around and say, oh, I'm not affiliated with the gang, when you talk about you go to events with the gang. It's just, for the life of me, I don't understand why people do this. And again, by doing all these things that I just mentioned, you're taking penitentiary chances. You're taking chances with your freedom. Just being in a gang, I'm going to say this to those who maybe the younger folks that may come across this video. Just being in a gang, you're putting yourself in a position to be taking penitentiary chances. All right. Sometimes you're not even in a gang, but it could be your cousin. If you spend a lot of time with a family member or friend that's in a gang, you're putting yourself in a position of potentially taking penitentiary chances. And you don't have to take my word for it. Stick around, and if you end up being one of the unfortunate few and you get picked up, just remember this video. I'm trying to tell you, penitentiary chances is a real thing. And I'm always going to advise that you don't put yourself in these type of situations. Not because I benefit from telling you this, but I really want everybody out there to win. And in order to win, you got to be free. You got to start there. You got to be free, and you got to disassociate yourself from anything that's negative. All right, but let's let Big U continue.
And all this stuff, and talking about I'm committing crimes and covering up with developing option. What crimes am I committing to cover up with developing option? You know what I'm saying? I ain't committed no crimes and covered nothing up with developing option. Shit crazy. But this how they get you. They get one or two people to say something. Ain't gonna be no real evidence. Ain't gonna be no real nothing. It's gonna be a repeated thug. It's gonna be a bunch of people in jail for a bunch of different crimes that don't have nothing to do with me. They finna lump all of us up and say it's all the Rolling 60s. Watch and see. We just seen it with thug. I'm finna experience the same thing out here.
I just have to say this. Black people who know you in the streets, stop going on No Jumper and stop going on Vlad TV. I'm going to say it one more time. I don't condone that activity. I don't support it. But if you know you're going to be doing, if you're going to have one foot in the streets, one foot in the entertainment, whether you're trying to be a rapper or whatever you're planning on doing, stop going on those two platforms and talking your business or talking other people's business. All right? Just stop it. It would be even better if you just stop going online, period. Which means no Instagram live when you're in the hood, no Facebook live, and just stop with the podcast. It's for your own good. I mean, if you're not learning from this, then I don't know what you need to learn from. That's another thing too. Time after time, we just never learn our lesson. It's like we have to find ourselves in a jam rather than just learn from other people's situations. All right? Case in point, what Big U's going through, having to turn himself in. I don't know. Let's continue.
Come. Now they on there saying all this stuff to assassinate my character. All right, man, just pray for me. And again, they can do any one of us. It ain't nobody safe with these dudes. If these dudes feel they want you, how they going around talking about somebody's gonna raid my house before my house get raided? How they there with the police? And y'all sitting there following them. Everybody that's a part of them shows, and 100 shows, and all them shows, and y'all need to, everybody who following them, promoting them, anything. Y'all wrong. Y'all ain't black. And y'all show ain't for our people.
Another thing I have to say. He knows how serious this situation is. You can see it in his face, right? But he's also speaking on other names because he's potentially going down for several different crimes, right? So he's speaking on other people, and to me, this doesn't look good. All right, that he's speaking on other people, because last time I checked, first of all, if you're innocent, just stay silent. Get your lawyers. Just say I'm innocent. My lawyers and I will have our day in court. You can say that. But it never looks good to start talking about other people, regardless if they lined you up or not. Regardless if they put your name out there and they're trying to sabotage whatever it is you have going on. If you're innocent, just say that, you'll have your day in court with your lawyers. You're innocent on all charges. But he understands the magnitude of all of this, especially when they got him under a RICO case. But again, the best thing he could have done when he got out of prison the first time, I don't know how many times he's been in and out, but I want to say the last time, just before he linked up with Nipsey Hussle, the best thing he could have done was to publicly denounce the Crip gang. That would have been first and foremost. And not just do that once, but every time he would have gone on a podcast or any type of show, he should have denounced the Crip gang. Secondly, the next thing he could have done was just no longer participate in activities or being areas with active Crip members, right? And I'm saying this not for Big U, because he's already in the position that he's in, but I'm saying this for people who are unsure of just how they're supposed to operate. You would think that some of this is just like and not to insult Big U, you would think some of this is common sense, but not all things are common sense. Some people really don't know that, I already denounced it, but my friend is still in it, or my cousin's still in it, my brother's still in it. You have to separate yourself from these people if you want a fighting chance to not find yourself jammed up and returning to prison. That's just my suggestion. All right, let's continue.
They can put charges against anybody. I'm looking at this video as I come in to turn myself in, and I'm disheartened by the fact that they trying to say that I stole something from Developing Option, or I used Developing Option as a front. Developing Option paid my bills. They paid my house note. They paid the bills for my family, the money I made as an employee for Developing Option. I never mixed that with nothing.
So Development Option, I'm assuming this is nonprofit that the federal government is alleging that was just a front for criminal activity. Let's continue.
I didn't manipulate nobody. I didn't steal nothing. We did PPP loans. We did 2 loans. And that's it, just like everybody else did. I didn't use no fraud. I didn't give none of fake names. And one of them we was paying back and one they forgave. You know what I mean? And the other one we attempted for and they didn't give us nothing for it. I filed my taxes. And them coming around telling me I was using Developing Option as a cover. Cover for what? None of that's going to be true. None of that's going to be true. The government putting this big-ass picture, they want to arrest 21 dudes. Some dudes I don't even talk to. I don't even know nothing about. So how the hell you going to lump me in with all them? But it's all a big picture, though. It's all a big...
I just need to say this. I don't celebrate any man, white, black, brown, purple. I don't celebrate any man losing his freedom. I'm going to say that again. I do not celebrate any man losing his freedom. Now, unless that man is a proven murderer, sex offender, child abuser. All right. But if they're proven to have done the crime, they deserve to do the time. I know that sounds like it sounds like something that was from a law enforcement commercial, but no, honestly, if they're proven to have done the crime, then they deserve to do the time. But the reason why I'm saying that is, if Big U in fact is innocent of the charges, I'm not celebrating him going to jail if he's actually innocent. So, I wish him the best if he's not guilty. If he's guilty and they have proof to prove that he's guilty, well, it's not even up to me. He's going to end up doing time, but it's unfortunate. It's a lose-lose for the family members and people that care about him, but again, black men, we put ourselves in certain situations. We line ourselves up with people that we know that we should avoid, I know it's easier said than done because depending on how you were raised and in the circumstances of your surroundings, sometimes you join these things for family. Sometimes you join these things for acceptance. You join it for protection. You may join it to put money in your pocket. You may join it because you feel like you don't have an identity. I mentioned this before. It's I mentioned this when I covered the episode on the young man who died whilst pledging. There's some similarities to a fraternity, not many, but the acceptance and the connection. It's amazing, and I've said this before. So it's amazing how a lot of the things that we've done when we were younger as teenagers, you're finding yourself still doing as an adult or taking part in as an adult. This whole gang affiliation, many of these people that's associated with the gangs, they went in the gangs as like young boys and girls. And because it becomes a family, it's not something that's easily like, oh, you're going to just break free from it. And I understand that, which is why I'm not hopefully coming across as judgmental. I'm understanding, but at the same time, while being understanding, I have to put it out there that you have to know that at some point in time it's going to catch up to you if you stay in it. There will be repercussions. I'm not here to make anything sound like it's all roses. So if by some chance someone's watching this video and they learn something from it, then I did my job, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing. But let's continue with Big U.
Now I'm gonna be sitting in here. It's gonna be years on my life. Then you going to get dudes who I don't even talk to. What they gonna say? You ruining people's lives. I heard this up with 21 people that's been arrested. This shit wrong. It is what it is. Church, just pray for me. Pray for me, pray for my family. And you look at what we did. You look at what I did. I've been home 21 years. It ain't over, though. That's what it's not. Blessings.
That man sounds broken. I don't wish to see any man in that position. No man. Let's continue.
This is my last video before I turn myself in.
Now it looks like they're playing it again. The last clip I'm going to show is just Big U speaking on the allegations that he had something to do with the Nipsey Hussle murder. And again, he was on a podcast for this, which I don't know. I guess he was in a lose-lose because the rumors was going out there to the point where I guess he felt like he needed to speak on it. But here you go. For those of you that didn't see this clip.
When Nipsey died, right? Mm-hmm. When Nipsey got killed, we probably had about 300, 375, 400 kids that was in our program. And I had the travel basketball team. We had a contract with Adidas that was worth about $3 million that Kanye West gave us.
Wow.
And then I had like a bunch of other different contracts. And for a nonprofit, we were really thriving. Then Nipsey gets killed. Well, after Nipsey get killed, then the rumor goes out, Big U had something to do. We lost everything.
You lost all those?
Everyone, I tell you everything.
Wow.
Kanye stopped answering the phone. Adidas stopped answering
What?
the phone. And I ended up almost going dead broke because we already committed to these teams.
So I just want to stop it right there. Actually, it made it to its end. But I'm just going to conclude by saying this. I know that social media definitely has a part in perpetuating for some young men the need for that fast money, because you wanna be that guy. Everybody to some degree wants to be that guy. You want the ladies to love you. You want the respect of your peers, and you want that little the little fame that comes along with having money, with having ties, with having street ties. I know it's easier said than done, but your best bet is slow and steady. You know, stay focused, stay dedicated to whatever your passion is, and the money's going to be coming in slow, but slow and steady. You know, there's no guarantee to success, but risking your freedom and time away from your family is never worth it. All right? Just learn from this situation and other situations prior to this. It's just not worth it. You know, it's not worth it. And trust me, myself, I myself, you know, at times when I was younger would look at the fast money as the way. But I've also seen a lot of people who were making the fast money in the past. They're not making that kind of money now. Either they did jail time to learn their lesson. Some of them are not around anymore. They're not even alive. It's just not worth it. I don't know how else I can convey that, but it's just not worth it. You know, your freedom is priceless. Listen, no sports car, no foreign car, no designer jeans, designer jacket, designer shades, no jewelry, no pendant could equate to your freedom. That's priceless. Trust me, I would love to make way more money than I'm making now, but I'm not willing to risk my freedom for it. And that's me speaking honestly to those of you watching. You know, we're all going to make our own choices, but I advise you to just take it slow and steady. Slow and steady. That's my advice to those of you watching. I mean, if for nothing else, again, watch the unfortunate situations that other people are going through, such as Big U, and then make your choice from there. But as always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.